Hey everyone, it's June 8th, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share with serial killer David Meirhofer, whose case was one of the first that involved the use of criminal profiling by the FBI after he murdered 4 victims in Montana in the 1960s and 70s. And that is him right up there. Born in Bozeman, Montana in 1949, Meirhofer was bullied by other students at his school after the family moved to a rural part of the state. Just 18 when he killed his first victim, he abducted a 13-year-old boy in 1967, then killed again a year later, kidnapping a 12-year-old boy in the wilds of Montana. He then joined the Marines, serving in Vietnam, receiving an honorable discharge in 1973. Meirhofer moved back to Manhattan, Montana, supporting himself by working as a handyman and carpenter. That same year, he abducted a 7-year-old girl from a tent while she was camping with her family, leaving behind no ransom note and no physical evidence. The FBI were called in, who for one of the first times used their new technique of offender profiling, suspecting that the kidnapper was a young white male who killed victims for sexual gratification and likely kept body parts as souvenirs. Several calls were placed to the family and sheriff demanding a ransom, and the authorities attempted to set up a sting to catch the kidnapper, but he didn't call back and the case went cold. In 1974, Meirhofer briefly dated a woman, just one date, and after she rejected him, he abducted her in her sleep, putting tape over her mouth and nose, which caused her to die from asphyxia. He then dismembered her body, burning some parts, wrapping up others, and storing them in his freezer labeled deer meat, and hiding her car in a barn. Meirhofer quickly became a suspect in her killing, with over 1,200 skeletal fragments discovered at an abandoned ranch that were determined to have come from 2 victims. Realizing that he had frequently visited the campground from where the girl had been taken, he became the prime suspect in both murders, but no concrete evidence could tie him to their deaths, so he remained at large. On the anniversary of the previous year's kidnapping, he placed a call to the girl's mother to taunt her. The FBI had her line tapped, and she kept him on the phone for nearly an hour, enabling the authorities to locate him and bring him into custody. He was released while the investigation went on, and further calls were made to the family during which the mother of the kidnapped girl confronted Meirhofer, accusing him of killing her daughter, urging him to confess. She even called him out by name, and audio wave analysis was enough evidence for the police to finally place an arrest. His car and home were searched, yielding bloody clothes, body parts, and human fingers in his refrigerator. While being questioned, Meirhofer confessed to his 4 known murders as part of a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. Just hours later, he was found dead in his cell, having hanged himself. It turns out that his brother was a serial child rapist, making some question what happened during their upbringing to have such a horrible outcome, but their sister claims that they suffered no abuse. In 2005, the personal effects of his last victim, the woman he oh so briefly dated, were found hidden in the wall of a home in Manhattan, Montana that Meirhofer owned in the early 1970s. Many believe there were more victims, than he had only confessed to ones in the same county as where he'd been caught, but Meirhofer was never tied definitively to any other murders. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to David Meirhofer, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.